to say live, but we're not currently streaming on YouTube anywhere. In fact, I am going to just double check to make sure we're not. This should be on private settings, so let me just make sure we haven't all just suddenly appeared on my YouTube channel. Nope, good. So what this will enable us to do is we'll have it at a private link. It will be unlisted, which means no one can see it apart from people that have the link. Same as the thing I just did for you today, Jason. So anything that we want to look at, you can go back and look at it or listen to it or whatever. I'll send everybody the link out on an email afterwards. Okay? Marvellous.
Yeah.
I'm so glad I remember to switch that on.
Could you tie yourself to a chair, Jace, just so we... That's it. Brilliant. Lovely. There you go.
Okay, fantastic. All right, so yeah, everybody is tied up. Okay, I've got bad feedback from somebody. I don't know who. Yeah. Hang on, Ben Shockley. I've got something going on with your mic, mate. But we are
something's happening with my screen. I don't know what's going on with it. It keeps running behind for some reason.
Okay, I can hear you. Just do your best, but try and as soon as you've done your line, just mute yourself, or I'll mute you. Okay?
Yeah, sure.
All right, mate, because we're pushed for time, so I want to get going.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So, Grant, do you still need me on the phone, or are you? Can you do your lines from here, or are you going to stay on the end of the phone? Oh, he's frozen. Okay, so say your lines out of the phone. I've got the mic next to the phone. All right, let's get going on this because we're pushed for time. All right, I'll do the stage directions, but I'll skip through them fairly quickly. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. All in Good Time by Callum Edmonds. Interior storage room sunset. A small window high on the wall, filled with a broad, beautiful horizon and the sun beginning to set. An old, dark and dank room sits in the cold with a clock below the window ticking away. 4 hooded men, captives, are lined up in a row, bound by rope, their arms with additional rope attaching them to their respective chairs. Heavy is also in the room, waiting. The door to the room bursts open. The boss, late 30s, well dressed, enters the room holding a gun. As he approaches each of the captives, the Heavy removes their hoods.
No, please help me. No.
Bang! Boss moves to captive 3. It's a woman.
My employee. He'll pay your ransom. Good money, please.
Boss raises his gun again and fires, shooting the second captive through the head. The boss then moves to captive 2. We're going to change this slightly. What you're going to do, Nick, is you're going to move to Fleming's captive, who's going to be the third one along. He's not going to move. And then you're going to think, okay, he's not moving. You're going to go to the one who's screaming, who's at the end. So we remove the hood of the last captive who's screaming at the end, captive 2.
Well, I was just going to say, because sorry to back this up, Kelly, you read the line that I thought I was going to.
That's what's.
Yeah, so Kelly, you're captive 3.
I'm captive
Simeon,
3
you're
now.
captive 2. All right. Can we just run those lines again?
Lines of my lines changed.
No, just go with what's in the script for now. Hey,
what it is, Lance?
Stop. I have information. That's your line.
What is my line? Because I have information. I've got information.
Yeah.
And I'm captive 3 now. All right.
Yeah, you're captive 3. Okay, you're the second one to get shot. Right. Sorry, guys. I know we haven't done this before, and there's been a few different drafts and so forth. But
I don't have this script.
You haven't got draft 8.
I'll read your line for now. It doesn't really matter.
I've got the old one.
Okay, I did say earlier, has everyone got draft 8? And everybody said yes. So I'm going to just send it to you again. All right.
It's all good.
All right. We're good. I know it's bloody hot as well.
Now.
So
sorry about
I'm doing it. It's all right. My internet's being slow as well for some reason, so that's really helpful. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go from, as soon as you've got the script, I'm going to go from the door to the room bursts open, okay? And we'll skim through these opening bits as quick as we can.
Yeah.
Having a good time. Draft 8, okay. All right, you definitely were sent this though, but don't worry about it. Let's just.
I've got about three different scripts, so I don't know. I mean,
yeah, that's all right. Okay, it's on its way. Let me know as soon as you got it.
all right.
Let me know when you've got it open and you're ready to go. So just to recap, Captive 4 is Ben, Captive 3 is Kelly, Captive 2 is Simeon, and Simeon, your line will be longer than is written in the script. You will probably speak for double the amount of time, if not a bit longer. So, Nick, the reason for that is Simeon is the only person you're discharging a Section 5 weapon at. So you're going to make it look a bit like you're thinking about not killing him because you're going to let him speak for a long time. Then you're just going to turn around and put 3 in his chest. That enables us to get you a safe distance away from him to use that firearm. Whereas with the other 2, you're shooting them in the head. That will be with a plastic firearm replica. So it'll be a lot safer. Okay. Right. Let's go from the top. I'm going to go from just before the door to the room bursts open. Okay. And Captive 3 is a woman, despite what the script says. All right.
Let me see.
Okay. So I think we've lost Grant, but that's okay. So Kelly, you there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Everybody's calling me as well, and as soon as we started rehearsing this, I've had 4 phone calls in a row. I've been in all day. No one's called me. See what I mean? Right. Let me put my phone on silent as well, because everybody for some reason is now trying to ring me.
No, come on, son. Yeah. Let's get on.
Give me a sec, mate. Right. Okay, I'm muted. Right, we all ready?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, let's go. Okay. The door to the room bursts open. The boss, late 30s, well dressed, enters the room holding a gun. As he approaches each of the captives, the heavy removes their heads. Captive 4.
No, please help me. No.
Boss raises the gun and fires, shooting the man in the head. He moves to Captive 3. Kelly, that's you. Kelly, that's you. I don't know. We've got audio issues here. Kelly, can you hear me?
It keeps cutting out. Sorry, can't hear. So you've all gone off. Right.
Okay. Well, we've got audio issues here. Can you just say your line, please?
Yeah. Hey, stop. All right. I have information.
The boss raises his gun again and fires, shoots the woman through the head. The captive moves past the next man who's not moving, goes to the person at the end.
My boy, he will pay a ransom. All right, good money. Like I'm worth a lot of money to you. Just think about it. Think about it. All right, please.
The boss turns around and puts three rounds into the man's chest. Blood pooling on the ground. The boss then moves back to Captive 1. Captive doesn't move. The hood's removed, simply stares ahead. The boss pulls the trigger. It jams. The boss fiddles with the gun. Tries again. It doesn't work. While racking the slide, the boss realizes the captain hasn't so much as flinched the entire time. The boss gestures to the heavy. The heavy offers his pistol to the boss. You're muted, Nick. You're muted.
I don't want your gun, you ape. Unless you want to sit in one of these chairs, fix mine. Get that rat fuck Boyd to do it and clean this up.
Okay, POV at the end of the table. The boss fills his glass with water, takes a drink, replaces the glass on the table, partly obscuring the view of the captive who is staring forwards. When the boss lifts the glass, the captive stares at him intently. The boss moves the chair and deliberately sits between the captive and the door. He stares at the captive.
Are you mute?
Who were they?
You have quite the exceptional chance to beg here. I suggest you take it.
Who were they?
You want to die, little man? They were scum.
Do you know what they did?
I know enough. Most men are cowards.
Enough to kill.
Hey, can you focus? This isn't about them. It's about
you.
Let me be clear. You're playing with borrowed time. I do not benefit from this.
Door opens and the heavy comes to collect a body. POV looking down. The heavy drags captive Ford's body out, creating a blood-smeared path to the door. The boss is disappointed. He takes another drink. The captive stares at the boss the entire time.
Right then. Who were they?
I don't know.
Then why ask me?
I didn't shoot them.
You have to know a man before you kill him.
You ought to know what you're taking.
I take what this filth throw away. Seems they have some remorse. Is there a noble way of killing a man?
You're the one who tells the stories.
Tells stories? You rats all think yourselves unique. You don't know anything about me.
I know enough. You just have to take their lives yourself, from prisoners to partners. Your father would have been embarrassed.
What?
What's left? The allies he made, the empires he built.
You didn't know my father. His weakness is why so many of his allies were walking all over this organization.
And your approach is so much more effective. How long have you been pouring your own drinks? The weakness is your lack of patience. You're a fool. It's just a matter of time before you no longer draw breath.
Captive realizes he's said too much. The boss knows the captive's done his homework.
If you're so well informed, how come you're sitting there and I'm sitting here?
This was inevitable.
Inevitable? You have nowhere better to be. You got a wife? Kids? Any other kind of inevitabilities?
What kind of man wouldn't?
Another pause. Then the door opens. The heavy drags captive three's body. Another path of blood. The heavy exits. The boss is eager. Boss gets up, takes another drink, repeating the previous shot. The captive looks down when the boss lifts the glass, returning to face forward when the glass is replaced.
You know, you could be just the kind of man I'm looking for in this organization. I need loyalty. You a loyal man?
How do you think you'll die? Friend or family?
Not just a rat, but a snake in the grass. If you want to live, you'd better give me something. You achieve nothing by dying in this hole. Tell me who you work for. What kind of ransom I could get for you. Who knows, I could pull some strings.
I can imagine a degrading fate in working for you. Maybe being you.
Biting again. You know, I had a Rottweiler once. Vicious little bastard. My nephews loved him. He loved them back. And you could see the potential in that piece of shit when he would stare out at the horizon, no matter how hard he came at you. He'd be growling, gnawing. But the boy loved food, fetch, and fucking about. I figured eventually he'd calm down with age, some perspective, till he bit me. And he bit hard. I gave him one more horizon before the end. I figured if he knew what was coming, he would have behaved better than a bloody border collie.
Or he'd have taken that last horizon as a blessing.
Excuse me?
You ever wonder how little time you have left?
Do you ever wonder how little time you don't?
How little is an animal supposed to have? A rat, a snake, a dog? Are you trying to get more comfortable with killing me?
Do I look uncomfortable to you?
You look tired of the world that you've made and the debt that it's collected.
Camera switches between the two men as their barbs both reach each other, a growing determination expressed by both. The door opens, punctuating the captive's point. POV from above, the heavy drags out the body of captive 2, leaving a final trail of blood leading to the door. The boss is frustrated. He checks his stopwatch. The boss takes another drink. Almost no water remains. The captive looks to the ceiling when the boss lifts the glass, returning to facing forward when the glass is replaced.
I'm not unreasonable. I'll let you go if you tell me who you work for.
You'll meet him soon enough.
Why did you take this job?
Westminster.
Ah, the gas. Snitch deserved it.
And what did the parish deserve?
That gas killed on exposure. They died well, all things considered. Besides, the city has a real god to pray to now.
The reward was far too tempting.
For all that talk, you're still a money man at heart. How much of that cash are you willing to part with to save your skin?
I don't need...
No. You are very close to dead, my friend. I'm the only thing standing in the way.
Boss rises
So start begging. Start acting like a man before I slit your fucking throat.
Why don't you use your subordinate's gun? Why?
My gun's taken more people than the plague. It ain't about to stop now. It was my father's.
And your father's legacy. Sorry, go on, Lance.
I checks his stopwatch.
Your father's legacy ending with you.
Both men draw closer. Outside, boom, a distant gunshot. The boss smiles. Gun's fixed. Door opens and the heavy enters, hands the gun to the boss. The heavy exits. Captive stares forward, unflinching. The boss finishes the drink, checks his gun. Boss unties the captive from the chair, stands him up, his hands still bound. The captive does not face him.
I think I'll let you go. You're a smart guy, resourceful, strong. It's like I'm letting myself live.
Of course.
Hey, you didn't flinch back at the jam. Why?
Reverse POV, the boss raises his weapon, the captive's mouth now reaching more of a smile.
All in good time.
Bang! Shoots the captive through the head. Captive is killed instantly. Blood spatters on the cheek of the boss. The boss is frustrated, confused. The force of the captive hitting the ground knocks the clock off, and it hits the ground, breaking. The ticking of the clock slows to a stop in the room, followed by a loud click and then a hiss. Boss is baffled as the gas begins seeping from the captive's body. Boss begins to cough, writhe in pain. He panics, attempting to move over the captive's body, falling to the ground.
Me. Oh, no.
Boss is screaming in agony as we move to that same window in the opening, watching a beautiful sunset on the horizon. End. Okay, good. Guys, that was pretty good, actually. You know what? Grant just texted me to said his phone has overheated. That's why we lost him. So, but
listen, Kelly said you lot were brilliant at the beginning, and on the day we'll have a bit more time.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yes.
A lot.
It was the intensity of Jason's performance that burned
the
phone, I think.
It could well have been, but I've recorded this, so the good thing is you can go back and watch it. So before Ben and Kelly and Simeon, before I let you go, we're now joined with Callum, aka Mauler, founder of Long. You won't see him because he never comes on camera, but he is in the room.
Hello.
So
Hello, Mauler.
Callum,
Hi,
Callum.
Callum.
Hello.
Callum is the writer of the script. He's also technically one of the producers.
You're right, then.
I'm also very grateful to him because he was very kind in being instrumental in me getting this job, along with the other producer. And then I throwed my considerable energy into the project and brought all of you on board and assembled him the best cast possible. So Ben, I'm just going to mute you momentarily. Yeah, if any of if Kelly, Simeon, and Ben, before I let you guys go, if you've got any questions for Callum quickly or anything you want to ask, do that now, because he won't be on set on the day. So this is your only chance.
Frozen peas left.
Sim, you're good. Kelly, anything?
Just, I'm captive 3 now, not captive 2. That's all I need to know.
Yeah, you're the second one that dies.
All right.
Ben is the first one that dies. You are the second one that dies. Simeon gets shot in the chest. So even if the numbers change for whatever reason, you're always the second one that gets shot. Ben is the first one that gets shot. Simeon is the third one. And I think Sim, when I get 2 minutes with you on set, we'll run through a couple of different improvs for your spiel, because I think we can probably do a little bit more with that. Yeah.
Okay.
Jace, do you want to add anything?
No, I just thought you were great, guys. I can't wait. We'll have a laugh.
Yeah.
We will have a laugh.
Okay, so as soon as guys, as soon as you captives get on set, if there is any downtime while we're waiting to go for our first take, I just want you to practice getting lifted up out of your chair by Grant. We don't need to practice the dragging thing, just the lift out of the chair. Comfortable, just pretend to be dead and just check. Let him check your body weight and all the rest of it.
Grant, I'm not a lightweight girl. I'm one of them little skinny actors.
I know you've all been vigorously working out, and Grant is in good shape, so we should be all right. All right. Well, listen, I'll let you go. Thanks very much for coming on. And
see you later,
Simeon, good luck on set. Good luck on set tomorrow, mate. And
Thanks, buddy.
I'll speak to you soon.
Cheers, Kelly. Cheers, Sim.
Yeah. So okay. So we're just us now. Go ahead, mate.
Hello.
Marvelous. I can see your face. I can see you closely now. Well, I can't see. I can see Jace. And then I can see Lance.
Yeah. I stayed off camera. Yeah. Callum, who is Mauler on YouTube, is well-known YouTuber, but never goes on camera, so no one's ever seen him. But just know that he looks as good-looking as you, Nick. That's all you need to know.
He's the Banksy of the writing world.
He is the Banksy of the YouTube world.
Right, brilliant, fabulous.
So, so this is your chance to ask Mauler some questions and just, ask some things.
Firstly, well done, Mauler. It's a great script, mate. It's really interesting and strange and original. And me and Nick we've spent a couple of hours on it. We really enjoyed it.
Really did.
Oh, thank you. I really appreciate that.
Do you like the one? This is for you as well, Mauler. Do you like the one change we made, which was me and Rich came up with this yesterday when we were on the location? Rather than have you as the last one, Jason, we're going to have you as the third one. But because the others all under their hoods until their hoods are taken off, they're all or saying something. You're just completely still the whole time. So I think we could have this nice moment where Nick goes to sort of shoot you're going to be the next one. But because Simeon is making so much noise next to you, he just walks past you and I'm going to deal with this fucker first. And you can have a nice little moment there. And I thought that's quite nice. And then I like it.
The only question is that doesn't cause any problems for you with the blood trails or anything, does it? Like with the directions?
No, not at all. Just I've got to take this call. You guys just carry on for a second.
Can I ask then, Jace? Could I kick off with a question to Callum about the blood trails? Then what and the stopwatch and the way you've repeated the stage direction about the boss getting frustrated. what it implies to me is that a great deal of thought and a great deal of sort of, tightness from you. But I want to know that we're on the same page and I understand it. I understand what you're doing with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I was just going to say, first of all, it's good to meet you because I haven't spoken to you yet. So, it's just a real honor to be working with both of you, and Lance, of course. He's just a bit busy right now.
Thank you.
But yeah, go right ahead. Are you asking?
Yeah, just to go through the stuff about the bloodlines and about the water and the clock, and just so we can play it with complete conviction. What's your reasoning?
Yeah, for sure. So I don't know if did you guys get a copy of the there was like a production notes that kind of went through the themes?
No, that would have been very handy.
If Lance, because I've obviously got my own copy, but I think he was hopefully going to be able to send that to you guys. If not, we'll get that sorted. But that is it. It's essentially the skeleton key to the whole story.
Okay.
It's the kind of thing that it's so funny because I don't want to waste any of your time, but like for me, I've been reviewing and breaking down films now for like a decade, and it's the reverse process where all the stuff I would typically draw out of a film that I love, I now have to put all in. So it would be really useful for someone who's reviewing it, but for now it's just supposed to be a way for you guys to know what you're supposed to be sort of like why for everything. But I mean, it's always better to talk it through anyway, I suppose. So I don't mind doing that.
Good.
So starting with, so broadly speaking, I imagine you both would have picked up from reading it anyway. There's a big old theme about time, but what exactly is it? It's the broad point of the entire story is just about how everyone lives their lives and what that time spent means. So someone like the boss is basically counting down the seconds in his whole life because all of it's spent very selfishly, very indulgently, and so he's desperately just trying to stay alive at any cost, and he's destroyed his father's empire. He's all of his friends have turned on him. It's all that sort of stuff. The captive, however, is the complete opposite, at perfect peace with exactly how he's spending his time to do what he's doing. Just because Lance is back, I was going to say, have they got a copy of the production notes that we?
I passed that on to all the cast as well.
Do you know what? I think the email that the script came with. There were 2 PDFs, and one of them was the notes.
Yes.
And even though they said production notes, basically what they were was kind of more background notes for the characters.
God, I don't remember. I'm sorry, I didn't see that.
Don't worry, mate.
You want me to send it again? I can send it again. I've got them here.
That would be great. Yeah, thank you. Because I mean, it would be quite typical of Jace to have the information, but then try to keep it from me so that he can give a much better performance.
Yeah,
I find that already quite annoying. So
they were, they were essentially created to give the best and quickest sort of view on. So maybe it'd be better if we, if everyone can pull it up. If you want to pull it up, I could just read through it, and then you can pause if you have any questions.
I'll do that. No problem.
Fabulous.
Let me grab it for you. By the way, that was Jason, you know him. That was Richard, who's the founder of Rain Dance, on the phone. And I think I told you I'm writing his biography in September. So
I'm just being sick has been really good because it means I've watched the 12 films for Rain Dance because I'm judging it this year.
Oh, not Rain Dance Film Festival, mate. I'm talking about the rave Rain Dance that started in the 90s. That Richard.
No clue.
You have met him, but maybe not when you were sober. But I told him I was on rehearsal with you lot, and he just said,
"See, it has to change for this. You can't help yourself, Lance."
No, listen. You had to ask.
Not when you were sober.
So no, well, I don't know. Probably not. But Richard just said to say to you, he said to say hello, and he said if you want to come down as his guest for any of his events, we'll put you straight on the guest list, all of you.
Brilliant.
So that's all 3 of you.
Thank you.
He's a nice guy. He's a nice guy.
Callum, before we go any further,
yep.
I wondered if I could change. You have quite the exceptional chance to beg here and make it opportunity. I feel it's clearer and it's slightly more verbose and it's slightly more. It would suit him a bit better. Is that all right? It's the only change I have. I mean, I only suggest that you have quite the exceptional opportunity to beg here. I suggest you take it. chance, I feel, is slightly lost. You have quite the exceptional chance to beg here.
Yeah, that should be fine because it's for some reason I'm trying to find the line you're talking about. Which page is that?
Page
Sorry?
3. Page 3.
Gotcha. Oh yeah. So you'd like to change it to what was that? Sorry.
Opportunity.
Yeah,
I think
that's fine.
I think that's nice. That's nice. So,
anyway, so
is there any other lines anyone wants to tweak slightly?
Is that it? Very good, Nick. If that's it.
Well, I think that's sort of it. Yes.
Just so you guys know, like, as long as the broad meaning of any of this is unchanged, you guys can change all kinds of words in different deliveries. Anything that
Don't tell Fleming that.
More natural. Well, I honestly, like we've talked about it. I would really appreciate at least one go at the actual script, but from then on, you know, play it as you think that it's most natural.
Listen, Callum, this is what me and Nick were discussing. All right, that the way it's delivered, the way it's written, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you know, when someone says, you know, if someone says, "How are you?" then you answer with "How you are," and this script isn't written like that. It's theatrical is the wrong word, but they're on different missions. They say what they think, not necessarily in response to what's been said to them. And I embrace that. I like that. It's, you know, so it's quite precise the way you've written it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well,
so
I mean, I'm hoping to aim for that. I appreciate it.
We'll stick pretty much as close we can to the script as our memories will allow, because I think it doesn't really feel like it's the sort of script to riff or to sort of improvise, because it's very particular. You know, like he says something. I mean, you know, there's some of the lines I don't totally understand about how they're a response, but I'm just embracing that and saying it with confidence, and I think that's the way forward. Lance has got a real sort of very clear grip on it all. So as you're not there, we'll refer to Lance about that. But I think it's written. I think it's really interesting, and I think, me personally, I'll try and stick to it as much as I can.
Yeah, me too. Me too. We found that when we read it, didn't we, Jace? We didn't really.
Yeah, we did. We were like, wow,
change much. But
yeah, we
I mean,
like,
if you accept that to a certain extent, it feels like a very slightly heightened reality. As I said to Lance, Callum, it feels quite sort of like a Pinter two-hander.
Yeah,
a little bit like the way they talk to each other in the birthday party or something. Do you know what I mean? It's just it's slightly off kilter. Does that chime in with you? Are you immediately alarmed by what I'm saying there, or do you understand it?
There's somewhat, because they're both extreme characters, so it's like and you are right in the sense that they're trying to. I'd say the captive is always trying to stay ahead of the boss, so the boss directs the conversation one way and the captive's not interested. That happens quite a few times.
Yeah, so Callum, for instance, when the boss I'm talking about, I take the filth and throw them away. It seems they have some buyer's remorse. And then I say nothing. And he says, you disapprove of a noble way of killing a man. That's the question. And I answer, you're the one who tells the stories. It's like, it doesn't have a logical sense to say that. So I have to just presume that the captive is on his own and will say what he wants to say when he says it. Correct?
I mean, because I assume, I don't know if Lance would be able to answer these questions as well, because obviously he and I have been through it quite a few times. But like, there's reason behind all of these lines. So, for example, when it comes to I take what this filth throwaway seems to have some buyer's remorse. The thing is, I can't attach this to all of the lines because it would make for a chunky script at that point. But the actual idea with that line is the boss is using a saying wrong. It's not buyer's remorse. That doesn't even make sense. He's using it because he thinks that's what it is. It's like an attempt at trying to be clever, but he's kind of humiliating himself. There's a couple of different ideas at play there, but he's saying something that's wrong, and then the captive. Sorry?
What would be the right phrase to say there? Just so I get what you're saying.
So the boss is thinking to himself, they've come to kill me and collect a reward, and then they got killed, so they didn't get what they were after, that sort of thing. Buyer's remorse isn't what would describe that. But he's getting it confused because he's he's not as smart as he thinks he is. So he's like enjoying the notion. And so you're listening to that as the much more intelligent character, and you're just like listening to nonsense essentially, right? Because the whole idea is the boss keeps telling himself a story that's not even true about the way that he lives, everything that he's done, all the people that are trying to kill him. All this sort of stuff is all built up, it's all fictional to him. So the boss isn't quite grasping why every attempt at getting the captive to talk isn't working. Getting him angry is not really working. So he's like, what, are you mad at me? Like, what is it because I've killed people and that's so wrong? He's like, is there a noble way of having done what I'm doing? And so when you say you're the one who tells stories, what you're saying is you'd be the one to make up that you're the noble person in this story, like you always do with every single action you ever take. That's like your whole existence. All the damage he's done to the Empire and to his friends and family, he would tell a story about how he's actually the one in the right. He's the one who's done everything properly, and that everyone else has betrayed him or made mistakes. And so these things... Go ahead.
So when I say tell story, you rats all think yourselves unique. What exactly am I saying there then?
So when he tells you're the one who tells stories. You're sitting there thinking to yourself, like, well,
I'm not telling stories.
Like these people are worthless. They are disgusting. They do deserve to be executed. What are you talking about?
I see. Right. Story? Yeah. You rats all think yourselves unique, that you can rise above it and not meet the fate that you deserve. Kind of.
Yeah, because the boss's point of view is they're all scum and they all should be executed, while the captive's perspective is you're killing innocent people. You don't even know who they are. You don't know why. You just come and execute them.
Yes. Who are the?
And then moving on from that. You don't know anything about me. I know enough. Obviously, I know the captive. I understand that the audience and the captive need to know that the captive knows about the boss. But then you just have to take their lives yourself, from prisoners to partners. What would that? What? Explain that.
So the whole premise for why the captive has chosen this method to try and kill the boss is because reliably now he's got a reputation for executing people, and this would be a result of him being obsessively in control, right? And outraged that he's getting betrayed, so he wants to personally execute all the people who either tried to kill him through contracts or friends, partners that betray him. He wants to execute.
There's a burnt forest of dead bodies behind him. Basically, he's assassinated.
Essentially, and you know this, and you've decided this. This is why it's a line that you're going to regret as a character having said, because it might give away just a bit too much. But like, you knew this was going to happen. You knew that you would be personally executed by the boss by being captured. Which, if the boss was able to put it all together, he might be like, "Wait, you want me to execute you?" Which is not what the captive. That's the push and pull of the conversation.
Guys.
But it doesn't feel like the captive is trying to save his own life.
No, he doesn't want to.
No,
he's
not.
He doesn't want to. Right. Yeah.
No. The captive knows he's going to die. He's in my head. He's volunteered for this. It's like a mission. Almost.
Yeah.
And got it.
That's why. So the challenge for the captive is, I want to make sure I antagonize the boss enough that he still wants to kill me, but I don't want to give away that I want him to kill me.
Oh, I see. Right.
That's why when he says, like, you just have to take their lives yourself, he's in his head regretting saying that. It's like, oh shit, I should probably not let him know that I'm thinking about that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Good. Yeah. I've sent you these notes, Nick.
Yeah, thank you very much. I can see that. Right, I'll have a look at them then. I'll have a proper look at them.
Yeah,
that's very good. That's going to clarify a lot, I think, isn't it? And then, can I ask about the inevitable? You have nowhere better to be. You've got a wife, kids. Can you talk me through that line, Callum?
So,
on page 6, bottom of page 6.
Yeah. So, when the captain says this was inevitable, he's just talking about the fact that the boss is going to be killed at some point, and that's what's happening in this room today. That was always going to happen because of the way that he runs his life. And then the boss not really getting what he means. He's just going to say, like, so what, you were always going to be here getting killed by me? That's what you're talking about? Is like, do you not have anywhere else to be, a better life to spend, being more meaningful with a wife and kids? And this is a moment for the captive when he says, what kind of man wouldn't? There's a couple of layers to that. One of them being, of course, he is thinking to himself, like, man, my life has led me to decide that I should sacrifice myself to take out the boss. that I don't have anyone that I'm going to hang around for. But simultaneously, it's about the boss as well. He's also got no one. Right. So what kind of men are they? You know, it's something to think about.
Yeah, I see. Okay. Very
Incidentally, by the way, the line "What kind of man wouldn't?" That is, we're trying to get up to all of that shot in day one, and I've broken the script into 3 acts, and the end of Act 2 is that line "What kind of man wouldn't?" and that body being removed, which means that at the end of Act 2, 2 of our bodies have gone, and we just left with the guy who's been shot in the chest.
We might get further on.
You might, but the key thing is that we need to get all of the shots with the 2 guys that are killed first on the first day, because we've only got them for the first day. Otherwise, production have to book them for a second day. They've got to have a hotel room.
Got it.
Yeah, so they'll be in the bunk bed in your room, if that's the case. So,
go on, mate. I'll be in the car home, son.
Very good. Callum is in the Rottweiler story.
Yes.
What exactly is it that prompts him to bring it up at this point? He's saying he's aware of how the captive has got bite. He's got, he's winding me up by not giving me what I want.
So
and he's
a broad aspect about the boss, which is, as mentioned, he sees pretty much everybody as scum below him. He's the best and everyone else is below, but then there are people who are even lower than that, and hence why he keeps referring to different henchmen and people that he's killing as animals. He sees them all as a lower species sort of thing. So every interaction he's having with the captive right now is reminding him of how he dealt with a dog that was his once, and he felt like, I have full control over this dog. It should do everything that I say, and it wouldn't. Even his family members enjoyed the dog and played with the dog, but he never could get along with it, despite the fact that he, felt entitled to its control. And so he even entertained briefly as part of the story. It's like, all right, he's going to come around and he's going to do everything that I tell him to do. He is going to be well trained. Bites him, which is how he sees what the captive's doing in this conversation, not taking the lead to get himself saved in this situation, which ironically, which is in the production notes, was always going to get the captive killed. If the captive had said, I beg you, don't kill me, the boss would kill him. If he had said, I can give you money, the boss would have killed him. If he had said, I can get you information, the boss would have killed him. The boss loves people giving, like breaking, basically, begging for their lives. That's what he enjoys to kill them with. So it's like a bit of an irony with it. But then you get to the point where he says, he believes he's right in every single circumstance. So the dog biting him, he's like, well, I get to kill you now because you've
what's the relevance of the horizon, Callum? Just so we get that. I think I've got it, but just so the boss says, I gave him one more horizon.
All about potential, whereas the captive would see the horizon, hence the beginning of the story, as like the great mystery that is life and all the different choices we can make to approach it for better or for worse. The boss and the captive are complete opposites. The boss simply makes everything worse for everybody. He's all of his choices are very selfish, and they're all invested in his more indulgent desires. Meanwhile, any given creature could look at the horizon, meaning the world, and make any decision they want for the better. And that's what's resulted in the captive and the boss ended up in these respective situations. And that's why when at the end of the story, the boss is saying, like, I gave him that, it's whatever, and then I killed him because that's what he deserved. And if he had known,
which is what I'm going to do to you,
if he had known, then he would have changed his attitude, his behaviors, right?
Nice.
Which is what he believes is the case with the captive. But what he's missing is that the captive is no different than the dog in the sense that it's going to be defiant no matter what, because it's about a sense of freedom, sense of choice, and hence the captive is like almost impressed by the story of the dog having done what it did. It's it's some kind of respectability.
Just a little moment later, Callum, he says, they're talking about time. He says, how little time does an animal have, a rat, a snake, a dog? Are you trying to get more comfortable with killing me? Is he talking about, is it taking you time to get comfortable in killing me? Is that what he's saying? Is he saying, if you're going to kill me, why don't you get on with it? Why are you waiting? Why are you spending
Yeah, essentially, because with all the dialogue, he keeps ending up coming back to calling you an animal in some way, shape, or form. And so your assumption there is just like, do you do that to make yourself more comfortable with killing people? Because he does it with his henchmen as well. It's just it's like a nervous tick or something that he has to degrade a person in front of him in order to feel more comfortable with killing them.
Got it. Got it. That's good.
Very good. That's great.
Let me see if what else. Alan, by the way, if you could do another draft of this after today and turn the second captive into the woman, make her female.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, just because then that'll be the script that we'll have on set, and it will clarify things. So so Kelly will know.
Callum,
all the
why he used the subordinate's gun?
What was that? Sorry.
Why won't he use the subordinate's gun? Why does he have to use his father's gun?
It's a matter of like this. I mean, that's a bit more explicit in the script. He literally just sees it as a sort of respect, honor, familial legacy thing. It's like that is the gun he kills people with. He loves killing. Hence why it's like I think that better justifies why it would jam as well. It's been used indefinitely.
But almost as if making up. It seems to me in some ways, I have in my head an idea that he's sort of trying to do. He's killing people. In large numbers, something he reckoned his dad was rather scared to do. In fact, it made his dad a much better gangster. In a way, it's in the back of my head. You won't necessarily.
No, I think that thinking's right, because in that room, we're going to dress it with a whole load of shells on the ground. So these are not the first people you've killed. You've killed loads of others here, and the room is quite. It's quite creepy anyway, and we've dressed it with a few things. There's a really weird sack hanging from the ceiling that could almost have a body in it. We've already taken a shot of it swinging, sort of like that, and we're adding a meat and some other things. So it looks the room very much looks the part.
One more question, just Jace, do you understand? Are you clear about the what you did Westminster wise? I mean, I like. I mean, it's very nice. I like the fact that you're making us think, Callum, and it's also satisfying for the audience. I think. But I just, it'd be nice to if you talk us through.
It's just Westminster. I mean, your response, you do it so well, Nick. Might I say? But you realise you can see it as a newspaper report But yeah. I think I'm confident with that. Unless Callum, have you got anything to say about it?
Well, so I was going to say, like, this is my whole purpose here. So literally, I don't mind going through literally every line to give you any answers you're looking for. If you want, so as for Westminster, that was actually a later edition because it doubled up, right? It gives a very obvious for the audience motivation for the captive, but it also sets up the gas so it comes as less jarring at the end. And making sure people understand kills on exposure. There's an irony, it'll work pretty well. I think the slipping in the line for the boss to think of himself as now being seen as a god thanks to his ability to just wipe people out in a church. Like it's I think it works.
Can I address something about the gas and just how we might play with that at the end?
Oh yeah.
Again, especially with the location that we're in, and we're never going to see the door. So when Nick and Jason ran this scene in the superb rehearsal room of Jason's car, they came up with an idea that Nick might improv a line, something along the lines of, "What have you got nothing to say now?" after he's killed him, which gives him an excuse to physically get close to him on the ground, physically get closer to his body. He kind of leans down and says that line. If you're comfortable with that, Karen. And that will be the point when we hit the kick and release the gas, and that puts Nick and Jason in close proximity to each other, which means the gas is going to get him.
All that needs to be maintained about that portion is just how frustrated the boss would be because he lost, even by his own position. He feels he's lost because he didn't crack the captive. You have to give.
So it could be quite an angry.
Just talking practically, and it's your guys' movie. We're just the chess players, but. That I think it's a really good idea. I love the whole idea of him being the gas bomb himself. But my concern was that, I mean, obviously it's a visual shot. It's obviously the gas comes out of the body. But I know it's been done in lots of films. But I was thinking about that release, you know, that when he gets down to goes, what you've got to say, or whatever it is that you and Lance come up with, that his mouth opens and the gas comes from inside him, from his mouth, rather than emanating through all his pores like some kind of flatulent kind of gas. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Gas.
This is
I'm
the one
talking
part
really
that hasn't been
practically.
easily
I'm
solved,
talking-
because there's a couple of
I'm talking
confusion
really
with it.
practically about how we shoot
can hear
that
you.
moment. And in my head, the best way to do it is that his mouth opens and it goes, and he's enveloped, and he's
So
Like Dune, right?
we had a discussion about this on set yesterday, Jason, and actually, they did, and then with the special effects team, when I got back from the recce, I had one of these calls, and the effects guy gave me a demo of what it's going to look like, and he actually had a shirt on. He just went to me, well, it's going to look like this. He pressed a button, and some of this gas came out from between his buttons on his shirt. It looked really good. And I was like, shit, how did you do that? He went with this, and he pulled a box out. It's quite a small box. Got a remote attached to it, and he just put it under his shirt. That was it. And I was like, oh, well, I thought this was going to be really complicated, but it actually looked
Did you
pretty
film
good.
it, Lon? Did you manage to film that?
No, I didn't. I wasn't recording that meeting, but it did look good.
Okay,
So
cool.
I think-
Listen, if you can find a better way, then fine. I'm just worried it will look a little bit comical and silly.
because you've
But-
been shot in the back of your head with a 45, the front of your face would be blood.
Yeah, all right, whatever. I don't, whether you want to work it out, I just think, he could be shot and, okay, whatever. If you think it's, I was like, that's the only piece that I was like, I'm not sure how we do that to make it look really cool.
My thought on it is we'll try it that way first, and if once I've seen a take of it, we can all watch it. If we think looks okay, but maybe we should do a side on and do this thing with the mouth and
okay,
and
don't worry about it.
Think the angle of your head a little bit.
You're confident, let's go with what you think. Let's go with your thing.
Well, the effects guy showed me, and that seemed quite close to the script. As long as it's in the upper chest, I think we're getting away from the death by fart thing. So it would be quite nice to run these lines again with having heard everything. Can we do that one more time before we call it a night? Oh, Nick, you're muted. I don't know if you've got time. It looks like you.
So sorry. Well, I would really like to do that. The problem is that I've got to take my daughter somewhere. I've got to take her to. But look, would we? What's the agenda on Sunday?
So on Sunday, what I would really love to do is block, because I want to get straight into it as quick as possible on Monday, and we could do a rehearsal, especially with your movement and dialogue, and I would love to be able to do that if we can get you both there. You don't have to be there too early. You can get there quite late, but sort of like late afternoon, early evening, block for a couple of hours, have dinner, go to the hotel.
Would that be all right then to have that reading that we're doing? I know Callum went but is that all right? I'm sorry about that, but I just wasn't sure how long.
Callum, I feel really confident with the script. I think that's. I think the script's great. We all agreed that we think it's great. We agreed we'll keep it as close to the script as we can. It's just how we shoot it all, which is the fun bit.
We'll lock in the time, but if I could have you both there for 6, that'd be great. Can I just check
not
something?
Sure, mate, Lance. I'll have to get back to you on that, Lance, but we'll talk. I'm not sure about that.
Right, well, let me know.
Listen, we'll have lots of time. We'll smash it.
Can I just check something else in terms of transport? Do you guys live relatively close to each other in South or
well, actually, as it happens, I'm doing a sort of strange gig on Saturday night in Faversham.
Oh, no way!
So I'm not going to go home. I'm going to go straight, because otherwise there's no point, really. It's no point.
Right, so you're
knocking about.
Right, so you'll be in Kent. Okay.
So I will be. Yes, I will be in Kent, and I'll make my way in my fancy Porsche, which
Listen,
Jason's seen.
Nick, even if I've got you and Jason not until later or whatever, the main thing is
I am tied to a chair, So it makes my movement slightly restricted.
You're the person who's moving around. We've got to work out the timings of where you're going to move and when. So extra rehearsal time with you, with someone running the lines I think would be really valuable.
That's a good idea.
Especially in terms of the movement. I can tell Jason's already planning to try and get out of this, but I mean, Jace, even if you come later, it'll still be very helpful. Because
I'm tied to a chair, Sam. I'm not anywhere.
But nobody would motivate me like you see, Jay. So I
basically
does that.
Yeah.
So
you go and take
Callum,
your daughter. I'm going to shoot off as well, man.
Callum, thank you very much for being there, and I look forward to seeing those notes. And if there's anything else that crops up, I'll
feel free. Like 100% ready to answer any questions you guys might have about the script. I would way prefer that you get the context of each of these lines whenever you need them. And I would say hyper recommend the production notes. Everything is in there, I think, anyway, for you know, why things are the way that they are.
I'm around all day tomorrow and Friday. By Friday, I will need to have firmed up your travel arrangements, so we will need to touch base about that. Okay.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, of course.
Nick, you're going to drive straight to base. That's what you're going to do. You're going to come.
I'm going to drive straight to base. And what do we do? So we don't. Well, the idea is we have a contingency for Wednesday, possibly, do we? But we don't. So we're there effectively on Tuesday night, are we?
Yeah. Everybody's booked into a room for Tuesday night. I think we'll still be going until Wednesday lunchtime. That's my unfortunately. But I think there's a strong possibility of that. So please keep that free. All right. Because I mean, if everything goes perfect, it'll be the first shoot ever where that happened.
Lovely to see you all. Thank you very much.
Well done.
Thank you both.
Thanks, guys.
Those other guys look really good. They look great.
No, they're all really hard-working actors. They're jobbing, you know, all the time. So they're great guys.
Thanks.
All right, mate.
Thanks, Lancey.
Bye. Hey, so, well, I got you, Callum. So So I hope that was very helpful. Even though we had some internet issues there.
I mean, you know, the main thing is just I really want him to like ask away, you know, like this script is not randomly put together. I mean, you and I have been on it now so many times that every line is ready to go for explaining it, you know.
Now we're trying to work out where to put the clock in the room. And I'm going to see if let me send this picture to my email so that I can put it up on here. It's so funny. I've got a video of yesterday of the farmer actually taking a power saw to the window and cutting it out and ripping it out, and he just didn't care. Let me just. Will called a call while we were doing all this. So I'll see if he's free. I'll get him to jump on. Now it's a load of production stuff happened today. Just I thought everything was sorted, then it was like tons of stuff to sort out. I didn't know the radio's hadn't been on. Will, hello. I'm on. We've just finished the Zoom with the actors. I'm on with Callum. Do you want me to send you the link? Do you want to jump on?
I'm out in the gym at the moment, so I can't really get to
No, that's fine. So okay, so radios are sorted. I saw you also dealt with the invoice. You're dealing with the invoice for the location. That's great. The main other thing is the insurance, which I know Gary was going to talk to you about. That's the main other thing that's got to be paid, because I thought that had already been done. Actually, I only realised it hadn't been today, so hence why you got that. Rather, you know, we've got to get on there. I believe so, but there may talk directly to him via either email or he's got. I think he's got his number as well. I've given you his number. Okay, fine, all right. And then tomorrow we're booking the caterer for the lunches. So I'll get an invoice off of her and get that sent to you straight away. And I'm doing my expenses invoices now, so I'll send you those. I'll send you those as soon as I've got a call from Mauler. We just did a run through with Nick and Jason and all the other actors. Actually, all the captors on it and as well. And although we had some internet issues and some lag, and people's phones were overheating and things, it went really well. So lots of intelligent questions from the actors, and it's all looking good anyway. So I'm glad we've jumped and got all over these things that I thought the radios had already been ordered, to be honest, mate. So when I found out they hadn't, I was like, what the fuck? So anyway, so Callum's sorted that, so they're on their way to me. So I think we're good, but we'll I'll talk to you tomorrow, and we'll sort out the other outstanding invoices over the next 48 hours. All right?
Yeah, perfect. Okay.
All good. All right. Enjoy the gym. Callum and I will live vicariously through you as you work out. All right. We both feel so round. Thank you. All right. I'll speak to you later. Take care. Bye. So, so those little kind of things like putting Jason in the third chair instead of the fourth chair. I just came up with that yesterday. I thought it was actually really nice that suddenly it looks like he's going to shoot him, then he doesn't, and he goes straight to
I think it's a good change. I'll need to do a redraft that makes that clear, right?
Yeah, if you could, that'd be great, and just turn the second captive into a woman as well.
Well, because the captives themselves they're not listed as men or women. Oh wait, I think you're right.
Actually,
maybe they are.
You still say they're all men, and just for the confusion of production, it would be great if you just say, and it's a bit of a surprise as well. Captive.
Yeah.
What I'm going to have Kelly do, I'm going to have the two men screaming and improvising quite a bit until their hoods are taken off, right? And I'm not going to have all four hoods taken off, and then it's going to be one hood at a time. But the woman, I'm going to have her doing a lot physically, but I don't want the audience to know it's a woman, and she's going to speak as soon as the hood comes off. That's when she's going to speak.
Yeah,
up until then, she's sort of moving around, and so she's not being like Fleming's character, who's very still. One of the main ball aches yesterday. So let me sort this photograph out. Now I've done that call with Will. One of the main ball aches was trying to work out where the clock should go, and let me just see. Let's get this photograph on my email, and then I can bring it up here. So I'm almost as Luddite as you with these things. Almost. Compose. There we go. Attach photos. Grant actually sent me a picture of his phone overheating. Your iPhone needs to cool down before you use it. I've got a ton of costumes here as well from the production lady. She sent like all these different potential sort of looks for each character. It was great. She's really, really on the ball. So,
awesome,
yeah, fabulous woman. I mean, she's got great credits. So I kind of wasn't surprised that we had that sort of approach from her. Okay. Right. So, all right. So here we go. This is basically our set.
When he passes the captive, did you want? I think you were saying Simeon plays. Is he going to be screaming under the hood?
Yeah, Simeon will be making noise. Yeah, that's what's gonna. He's a bit like I want to shut this guy up. And then because Simeon's going to talk so much, what I want to do is have Nick walk towards camera away from him. We had this whole safety issue with the guns. We've got to use an airsoft pistol for the headshots, because the Section 5 firearm that we've got is one of those ones that discharges a blank out the front. Can't fire a gun like that close to someone's head. We might end up with an Alec Baldwin situation. You don't want to be associated with that, do you? So, so the guy. I mean, it still looks good. Don't get me wrong. It's got the slide back and everything, but we'll have to augment it with CG. So, Richard Oakes is all good to do that. Right. So this is the set. Most of the crew and everything will be off to the right of the frame here. So we'll almost never be shooting from this angle, by the way. This is just so you could see everything.
I got you, yeah.
So, so what we would be shooting is predominantly is across this way. And then the camera would be occasionally behind the table, obviously for the water thing, towards the actors here. And then also from the side, sort of shooting across this way at a 45-degree angle. We've already taken, if you read through the email that I sent you guys out today, the update, it was so funny. It was almost like there was almost nothing to report last night. And then within an hour of me getting up, fucking all hell broke loose. Like, you know, I suddenly thought to check a few things and suddenly realized a shitload of things hadn't been done. So thank God I did that. But anyway, we're all good now. So we're all over it today. But these boxes, all these boxes and pallets and everything were all added by the farmer for us. So he basically came in with a forklift and added all this extra stuff in it. And actually, it's really nice. We did the test with the camera. So this is the window that got taken out on the left. You can see this is the size of the massive cobweb there. It's absolutely horrible. And we're going to start with the camera up here now. But what I think we're going to have to do is do a, there's no way we're going to be able to get an actual sunrise out of this window because the rolling hill is quite high. It's at a certain angle here. And I mean, it's great. Don't get me wrong. The view out the window is great. But the sunrise, the farmer tells me you don't see the sunrise until the sun is a certain height from this location. So in other words, it's rising kind of out of view and out of angle. So by the time we could do even a cheat shot of it at the wrong angle out of here, it will already be quite high in the sky. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a plate shot of the view out the window anyway, because we need that for the first shot in case we get a bleach out when we come in with the camera, so we can cross dissolve into that plate shot. So we're going to do that actually outside the window. We're going to take that shot on the Sunday, and then there's the coast is just up the road. We're going to try and go and see if we can just shoot a sunset up there after dinner on both Monday and Tuesday night, and that'll be pretty easy to convince the cameraman to do that because there's a really nice pub right next to it. So if I say, look, we'll get you an extra drink because he's not supposed to be working at this stage, if you can just go up and we can shoot the sunrise, see what we can get. We might be able to use that as a plate shot. If we can't get that, then it's basically we might have to go online to get something because there's a gazillion sunsets you can buy from libraries. I'm trying to avoid that because I'd assume you would wish to avoid that. But that's where we're at with that shot.
That, yeah, I mean, I'd say instead as a worst case scenario, we could lose the sunrise and sunset. All right. Well, worst case scenario, as long as we can keep
go in and out of the window.
Yeah. And just if we begin the story and it's, you know, a light change, as in
we go
as long as we get that.
And I love the whole idea of the opening shot, the camera coming along and it's basically what we did was me and Richard started sort of here by this box here. We've actually got a recording of this. I wish I'd got him to send it to me. And then we pulled back, went behind these chairs. So you're going to reveal each of the people sitting there one at a time. They're already going to be there. We're going to pick up Grant, who's going to be standing behind them. And what I thought we could do is we could hear a knock at the door. So Grant could come and walk out of frame. You hear the door open and it's like he's letting the boss in, you know?
Yeah.
So I thought that'd be quite nice. And then that is the first shot. And we see the back of the boss come in. We don't see him. And that's the first shot. That's the first shot we're doing on the first day. And then we're kind of moving on to the executions, trying to get all the executions done by lunch. Then as much of the dialogue as we can get in the second half of the day until the body's removed, and then the overhead, and then and we'll see how we go on day 2. So exciting times, mate.
I mean, it's almost time, isn't it?
So yeah, I see what you did there. So with the other farm in terms of the compass, the window in the barn was actually where this plate is. It would be about up here. That would have been directly looking east, whereas here at this window, we're kind of looking north. That's why we don't see the sun until it's very high up.
Right.
So, I'll let the DOP know you're happy with this kind of, as long as we're starting out in the light, we've got that light change. And then we've also got options of, do we want to add a sunrise and a sunset in post, or is it just enough that we kind of start coming in from the window and we end going out of the window? I quite like that we just end going out the window into this white light.
That's what I mean. It'll still work. It's just, you know, I would rather that if our attempts at creating a false sunrise end up looking strange. You know what I mean? It's like, in that case, then we'll just opt for the...
Let me just see if I can, let's see if I can just get the DOP on the phone. He's now kind of supposed to be fairly available for phone calls. So let's just see. Mate, I just can't believe, like, as soon as we started that read through, my phone just did not stop ringing, and I've been no phone calls all day.
Well,
yeah, it's the way it goes, isn't it? It's just that's what always happens. Always happens. I'll see if I can bring up a couple more of these for you as well. It's just the other big production headache that we've have is Richard's van, which was making a suspicious noise yesterday, has given up the ghost, and that's a 7 or 9 seater people carrier. I think it's a 9 seater actually. So we're a vehicle down. So yeah. Oh fuck, that was the other thing I needed to talk to Will about. Yeah, actually, just leave him a voice note because he's in the gym. Well, sorry, mate. The other thing I needed to get a yes or no on you from, and Richard's happy to go ahead and sort it, and then he'll send you an invoice for it, is the replacing his vehicle. So with the van hire. So my recommendation is we do go for the 9 seater. I know it's an extra expense, but it's going to save us a lot of problems. So let me know on that as soon as you can, and then I can get him to book it if that's okay. Yeah, so we're a vehicle down on our transport fleet. And the reason we haven't budgeted for a minibus is because we had one 9-seater vehicle, we had another 7-seater vehicle, plus we've got loads of other cars. So like then, getting a minibus on top of that, but which is expensive. You're talking a couple of grand even for 5 days. Is just seemed a bit pointless, really. I'll grab you a couple of other images that we got yesterday just to show you kind of what we were doing. It wasn't as hot as today, but I did think we were going to be warmer, so I was kind of pleasantly surprised that we didn't.
If I can just so I make sure I understand, because the window you were just talking about, are the chairs lined up?
I'm going to show you the other. I want you to see the angle from the camera, so that's what I'm going to get you now. Okay. So the chairs are lined up so that the chair that Jason's sitting in basically ends up being between the 2 windows.
Right.
Yeah. So it's slightly in front of it. If I take that one and that one. Okay, done.
Because you're intending to make the audience believe this is a small room, right?
Well, no. Originally, I was trying to make it smaller. Now, I just want it to feel dirty and claustrophobic, and just not a place that they want to be. And even though showing the door was originally part of the script, because if we can't show the door because the door into this room is a massive open space, and that
I don't mind not showing the door.
No, I know, and that's why we're going to do all that with sound design. Yeah, so it's more the claustrophobia rather than the size of the room, and sort of the way we're filming it, it looks smaller than this even. Let me show you these stills and you'll see what I mean. So There was only 4 of us there yesterday, but I was able to make good use of that because Richard had his wife with him. So we were able to use her as a stand-in for a whole load of shots. So let me take that one down for a second. So if you see this, so that's my first AD on the right, and this is so that's the minute Rue is sitting in the seat where Simeon would be, and Arena, who's in the red, is sitting in the seat where Fleming would be. Now, this was before we decided to switch their chairs. So when we were framing this would actually be Jason in shot in the black. But then we were talking about that, and that's when I came out and said, hey, why don't we do this thing where, because killing them one at a time, I just thought, let's play with that. And then I came up with the idea of this guy making more noise and Fleming not making any noise. I thought that's quite nice. It's kind of in the script already. So that's that, just to give you an idea. Then, so that's just more of a shot. So one of the things that we're going to try and keep out when we can is the other windows, which you can see here.
Yeah.
So we're going to be able to make that background darker. We're going to change the angle a bit, so we trim them out a bit more, because that open space is actually the door into this room, you see.
Is there no viability for just like a fake wall or anything?
We haven't really got the money for that. We could get a load more pallets added to block that out. I'll see if I can do that and get more of these wooden blocks, because he's got quite a few more. There's also
no chance of the farmer having, like, I don't know, metal sheeting or something cheap that we could, I don't know, and just trying to find a way to
make it
simulate
feel
it.
Make it feel a bit more enclosed. So
yeah,
I know what you're thinking because of gas. So if you see these things that are lying flat here, these are the same sheeting that builds these walls.
Right.
So it might be possible for us to put a load of that along here. It might be possible for us to get a load of these stacked up and just make it feel a bit more enclosed, so it doesn't seem so open behind them. That's definitely possible. Also, predominantly though, Callum, this is our main shooting direction. When we're on wide, essentially what you're going to see is those windows are going to be left and right frame, and you've got the captives and the captive and the boss in the middle. And I love the fact that these windows are almost like these 2 eyes. You know, it's quite creepy. It's got a sort of Amityville kind of vibe.
Yeah. Would it be easier to just block the other windows, as in just put sheeting on top of them temporarily, or I don't know if that's hard.
So that window on the right is not open. That window on the right is actually that's light coming through plastic on that. It's actually closed. Whereas the one on the left,
I meant. I got you.
The one on the left, we had him cut it open with a saw, so we could start the camera outside. We won't be able to recover it now, though.
No, I didn't mean that one. I just meant the others as a.
Oh, I see the ones in the. Solution. The ones in the ones in the background. What we could do is we could put up some of the sheeting and just lay it up to block those out. But we took this shot deliberately to see what the issues were with this angle. We're going to eliminate this angle as much as possible. We're going to go tighter. We're going to change the degrees on it, so we're shooting more towards the back wall. So you're not going to see that stuff. What I'll try and do is get a load of these square boxes and see if we can get him to stack at least 2 high here. So if we did a low angle like this, you wouldn't even see these 2 windows, because you'd have boxes across here. And then we can also add pallets and things like that. So I'll try and get as much of this space blocked as I can.
And you're all good on sound, are you? So I don't know if there'd be a worry of echo for a place like that.
There is a big problem with the echo in the main room, but then when we're shooting the overhead shot in there, if we indeed need to go in there, we'll be doing that MOS. In this space, the echo, there's no echo because of the low ceiling. Yeah, I know, weird. It's really weird. You go about 20 feet left, and there's a big problem with an echo, because that's one of the reasons why I ruled out filming in that room straight away. It was pretty horrendous, the echo. But here, I mean, if someone really shouts on a line, you might get a bit of an echo, but that would be quite nice if that just happens maybe once or twice.
Yeah, yeah, there could be a bit of a texture to that, couldn't there?
Yeah. So, yeah, so as you heard me say to the cast, they're all under strict orders not to post anything anywhere.
Right.
The only thing that I'm going to allow them, we're going to do a group photo, because that's tradition on any film set. You do a cast and crew like group photo, which we'll take outside away from the building. We won't be releasing any pictures taken on the set. We won't be releasing any pictures of anybody with their wounds on or anything like that. Because like I said to Kelly, you know, if you say, hey, look, I've been shot today, and you put that up on your Instagram, well, everybody knows you fucking die in the film then, don't they? So we don't want people to know that. Yeah, so I've been very like strict with them about that. You know what people like with social media. I don't know what you've got in your head for a poster and what I have budgeted for a poster designer, but when Nick goes in close with the knife, and we've got this great little butterfly knife now, it's completely totally safe. I'm going to do this 2-shot of the two of their faces, almost like pressed up against each other with Nick with the knife here. And I'm going to make sure my stills photographer gets a really good still of that. There's obviously a great sort of asset about this production is you've got 2 actors at the top of their game in these parts. So you haven't just gone off and made a short film with a load of guys. You know, it will say straight away to anyone, okay, well, you know, whatever I think of Mulder's film, these are 2 professional actors at the top of their game. So I think that still will be your poster.
I mean, yeah, I'm totally on board with that. Could we maybe run a couple of, not necessarily to compete with each other, just so that there's a bit of a meme. I meant to tell you about this. Like, we've always said on our show that, like, if you have a very competent director and a very competent writer, very competent whole team, that you could make a chair in a room interesting. And so just all I want is a poster. It doesn't have to be the most important one. It's just a poster of the room, a chair that's empty, and maybe the gun on the seat, something like that.
Well, I was thinking what might be nice is to take a picture of the main chair in the foreground. The chairs would be slightly blurred in the background, but we can see them. Maybe some blood on the chair. I wouldn't put the gun in it. Well, I can do one. That we can certainly set that up. And you've got Alex Tabrizi's email, right? He is on DIT, but he's going to have almost no time on DIT because all of Richard's cameras have got terabyte drives attached directly to the camera now. Didn't know you could do that. So it's just, you know, I've been off set a few years. Now they've got terabyte drives they can attach direct to cameras. So most DIT will be done at the end of the day, which means he's going to have all of the other time to do behind the scenes and stills. So, which is great. So if you've got poster composition ideas and particular shots that you want, fire off an email to him.
Yeah, I was going to say, because the one that's in my head is almost more to just satisfy a meme. It's not like a super important thing. I would just super appreciate if it was possible.
Yeah, no. I think we'll probably, you know, ideally we would have 4 or 5 different posters for you as well, you know.
Yeah,
some that feature the actors and some that are more sort of metaphorical to the narratives, that kind of thing.
The reason I would be in favor of the gun is just because of how important it is in a lot of ways, right? Being that it's going to be what kills the boss and the captive.
How about low angle? If this was a portrait poster, like an American style, and one for TikTok and all that, how about low angle? Got the chair. And then the edge of frame around the bottom, there's all these discarded shell casings.
Yeah, see, what you're talking about is like an actual poster idea. All I'm talking about is just so I can show fans that we did a movie that was.
Yeah, I got you. Well,
I'd love to see all of them. Honestly, I'd love to see all of them.
All right. Okay. Great. But like I say, any particular concepts you want. Alex Tabrizi, who's on the email list that you were CC'd in the big crew welcome thing, and I think there's a crew contact sheet as well. There's a new one coming out tomorrow as well. Don't be afraid to email him direct. Just hi, I'm Callum, I'm the writer. I need these things for my social media. Can you try and get me an image of this, this, and this? That's his job.
Sure, yeah.
So, because probably best if he hears that directly from you, then he'll put it on his to-do list. I'll be getting him to take all kinds of pictures as well on top of that. Good. Fuck me, stressful day, but I think we're there. So I just like when I heard
we close out or anything, I was just going to say I've done the rewrite somewhat. So if you just literally quickly, like in a minute, just read through it, I guess, to make sure it's where you want
to send it to me and I'll pull it up right now.
You're right. Well, I assume I could just share a screen so it saves sending and downloading, right?
Let's do that. Let's do that. Grant's just apologising that his phone overheating. No worries, mate. He's such a professional. He's probably really upset with himself now, I bet.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, I think he was quite annoyed about that.
I'm getting a new phone in the beginning of next month is when they're delivering it. So hopefully that doesn't get in the way of anything. It shouldn't.
Started to like already. I don't know. It doesn't always seem to fully charge, and I've only had it a few months. Right, so
it would be 4 hooded people, I guess.
Yeah, let's go 4 hooded figures, people. People. 4 hooded people. Yeah. Prisoners.
Lined up in a row, bound by rope at their arms with the dish. By the way, they don't have to. Is this up to you on the day? They don't have to have their arms at the back. It can be at the front if it's more comfortable.
I think it's better if their arms are at the back, right? Because if they are shot, even from the front, and then they're dead, and they're not tied to the back, what would happen is, even if they're just tied like that, they would slump forward and they would end up on the floor.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say my preference is that they would tie at the back because that's more realistic as well, I think.
Yeah. I'm going to make it look like they're tied at the back. We'll find a way.
Okay, cool. I was only going to say, just in case there's like a comfort issue that ever happens at any point.
So, I would just say that just put each are tied with their with their arms tied at the back. Just put at the back.
Bound by rope.
Bound by rope with their arms attaching them to the back of their respective chairs. The back of their respective chairs. So basically, their arms are tied behind them, is what we're saying. But also behind them.
I mean, you'll know if anyone gets confused.
I will, but just put it in the script because the assumption is the mother of all fuck ups. Gary assumed Will had ordered the radios. Will was waiting for the link. Of course, Will doesn't know what radios to order. He hasn't fucking ordered radios for a film before. I already went through what radios we needed with Gary. Gary said he was sorting it. He was expecting Will to just go and purchase them. And imagine something. I was like, oh. So, we had some very serious words about that this morning.
So the boss, late that he's well dressed, enters the room holding the gun, approaches each of the captives, heavily removes their hoods. No, please. So captive 4 raises gun, shoots the man through the head. That's the first down. Moves to 3. So this would be the woman.
Right. So hang on. So it moves to 3. Boss then moves to 3. We want the hoods removed as they go to each one.
Yeah, that's already stated here. So the heavy removes their hoods.
It's stated there, but then let's put here. The boss then moves to captive 3. I would put and the heavy is the one who's removing the hoods. He's going to remove the hoods and then step back. Right. The boss doesn't dirty his fingers. The way I look at it. With things like Hessian sacks and so forth. So if you put the boss then moves to captive 3, the heavy removes the hood. Revealing captive 3 to be a striking woman. Striking woman. Okay. I have information. I would recommend, mate, in that second line of her sentence, I would put, I have information. I have valuable information. Let's get the word valuable in there in that second bit. Yeah. And then she gets shot. And then I just gives Kelly something to do, and she'll be able to do something with that as well. The boss raises his gun and fires, shooting the woman through the head. Yeah, but So boss then moves to the boss then moves to the captive. So Jason is captive 1. So I would put the boss then moves to captive 1.
Well, so you remember we talked about this when we first did this.
Or the captive,
I think
let's
our
call him the
compromise
captive,
was
yeah.
labeling
Yeah.
him the captive, and then in brackets 1. We can put that there for now.
Yeah. Okay. Who remains silent and still. Good. The boss is then drawn to captive 2. I put by his excessive noise. The boss is then drawn to captive 2 by his excessive noise. And I want to articulate this as we're going to shoot, as we're going to film it. But the boss raises his weapon and hesitates. Captive 2's mind is racing. After the let's break this up a little bit. So go after improvised dialogue. Just put a line of description that says the boss appears to be thinking and walks away from the captive. And it would be quite nice if and then and it's going to be 3 rounds, by the way, not 4. It's going to be 3 into the chat. That's just because that's what they've got the setup for. He can do 4, but it will take a lot longer, so we've compromised on 3. So the boss appears to be thinking and walked away from captive 2. So then put captive 2 convinced his mantra is working. Another word for mantra. Convinced his shtick is working. Convinced his excuses. Convinced his pleading. Convinced his pleading is working. I think pleading. Convinced his pleading is working. Continues his verbal diarrhea.
Sure. How do you spell diarrhea? I always get that wrong.
DIAHORREA, something like that.
I think you're right. Yeah. Oh well, let's see what it says. I think there's a H in it after, isn't there?
I can get my gorgeous AI lady to tell me.
Diamoric. Wait, really? It doesn't have a suggestion. Wow. What about H?
Angela, how do you spell the word diarrhea, please, and spell it slowly?
Sure thing, Lance. The word is spelled DIARRHEA.
Thank you. That's not slowly, Angela, by the way.
What was I
need to talk about these things.
I missed the second half. So what was it?
Okay. My apologies, Lance. You're absolutely right. That wasn't slow. Let me try again. DIARRHEA. Is that better? And I completely agree. Communication is key. I appreciate you pointing out where I can improve.
Oh my god.
Terminator era is upon us, Callum.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's DIARRHEA.
HEA, gotcha.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, that says it's wrong. This program's lying.
DIARRHEA. Yeah, there's no O there. There's definitely no O in diarrhea.
That's so weird. That this apparently they think this. Whatever. I'll just leave it like that.
Okay. Yeah, pretty sure that's right. So continues his verbal diarrhea. Then I would put go to the next line and then put in block capitals. Abruptly, the boss turns. And then put at the beginning of that next sentence, from a distance of 10 feet, the boss unloads 3 rounds into the man's chest. Yeah. Okay, great. Now, do you want to make the changes to the sunset sunrise thing on this draft, and we can just try and word?
I mean, this is the ideal, but you know, like I said, we can always lose it. So I guess at that point, should it just be kept in? But you know, it's
Yeah,
not.
I know. Okay. I know you're not going to scream at me if I don't get it. I'll show you the video that I took out that window. By the way, there's a really creepy ruined abbey just up the road from this place as well, where we went for our lunch break, and I took some pictures of that as well. Might inspire you to write a creepy horror story.
Mm.
That's it, just up the road from our location. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's cool. I saw it on the map and I saw the pub was next to it, and I was like, right, we're having lunch there. Okay, so this is the window. I'm trying to, in this video, I'm actually trying to, that's him removing the panel. That's the farmer removing the panel. In this video,
Yeah.
I was trying to show you what, you see how much it bleaches out, even with my phone.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah.
So that's kind of the issue that we're dealing with it. But what's really nice is what is actually out there is basically a hill at that angle that cuts across frame at that angle, completely bright green corn. It's great. You could almost picture the dog skipping over the field, you know. Oh, so that's the view. Oh, look, that's the view out the window. See that? And he just had to have his car there because he drove up to take the
That.
It's that green. We can if we can get that, we can trim out the red propane tank that's on the left. The vehicle won't be there. Low down, shooting out, all you'll see is the green, and unfortunately, we just don't get the sunrise or sunset at that angle, which is a ball ache. So, yeah, and the sunset will be too far off to the left to get it, and the sunrise is too far off to the right.
You reckon you can't call in a favor to the solar system? You don't think they'd move it for us?
Funny enough, with all the good luck I've had, I'm not sure I've got any favors with the solar system. Although I feel like I'm owed some. I mean, listen, it's actually a directing trait of mine. If you watch my film, The Journey, it's full of sunsets and sunrises, and it's one of my trademarks. Even in the paratrooper second unit footage, I shot a sunset in that with all the paratroopers marching past the sunset. It's a trademark of mine that there's either a sunset or sunrise in every film that I do, if possible. So trust me when I say I want to get it in if I can. I'm just trying to. It might be that we might need to go and get one elsewhere, and then somehow work out a way of can we, in post, sort of cross dissolve this to the window kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? It might be something like that, and then maybe we have to see what that looks like in post, and then if it doesn't work, we kind of. It's more kind of we're coming out of the white light and we're going back into the white light. It might be more like that. But that still works. Then, you know,
Yeah.
hey, you've got a roll of film in front of your mask. Has that always been there, or am I just seeing it now?
Yeah. That's my thing. Is that I go super duper into detail.
Okay. Oh, that's right. Yeah, because every frame's a pause. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Hey, when am I coming on EFAP? You got to get me on EFAP sometime, man.
If you're well, we haven't actually had many. We recently added another host, and we had some complaints about having too many people on at once. So we've.
Oh, I don't want to come on. I only want to come on once, just one time as a guest for something you think I can. If it's anything to do with Lord of the Rings or it's something I actually like, then I can.
Yeah. We'll have to make it something you actually enjoy, rather, because I always want to do that with guests.
I mean, listen, if Alien Earth is shit, I'll be quite happy to come on and participate in the roast of that. So that'll be up for that as well, because I'm a massive Alien guy.
All right, yeah, I'll keep that in mind. That'll be is that July? That's out.
It's, August. I've already got a stream up for it. Where I'm going to have a panel of guests doing an initial response. If you want to come on for it, mate, you'd be very welcome.
Our coverage of it would be after August because we've got a whole bunch of anniversary stuff. It'll be our 7th year anniversary on the 22nd. So, so when the show is finished, we will probably do an episode on it.
Right. You just reminded me. I don't know if it's in my diary, but it's my YouTube 3rd anniversary of the channel next month.
Hey, awesome.
So, yeah, because the anniversary is the date of the interview we did with you and Jason Fleming and Will. That was when the channel became what it is now. That was the first thing. So that's when I consider it to be. Before that, it was all the stuff we did in lockdown with all the actors kind of live play reading and things and whatnot. So that's the anniversary of the live stream reviews and interviews and what have you. Great. So I can't think of anything else that came up yesterday where we went, oh, we have to change that. It might be that Nick chooses a different moment to sit down. That's been discussed, but I think we'll know better if that needs to be different when we're in the space with him. I'm quite happy to keep it as it is in the script. I'm trying to give my actors some kind of latitude with their characters as well. How were you happy with how they read that?
Yeah. The only, it's not even really a worry. It was more of a just like if they want any information, because I love their enthusiasm, but at certain points, like they genuinely didn't know why certain lines were connecting, and as I don't even blame them for that, because some of these lines, I think, even to an audience member, will be strange, but they're supposed to invite you to think, like, why in the world do you think that they said that, or what would it mean?
Sure.
Because there is a definitive meaning. It's like I've told you, I'm having this problem with the comic I'm making with the Rippaverse. It's like they want us once it's out to explain a lot of it, and I'm gonna have to tell them, like, I don't want to explain the story to people. Like it's really not something I enjoy about when I analyze stuff.
But you want people to kind of analyze and discuss it and explore the possible meanings rather than.
Yeah, I am happy for people to read some of this dialogue and be like, that doesn't make any sense, and I'd be like, sure, if that's what you think. But
I would say,
I wouldn't want the actors thinking that, you know.
No, I don't want the actors thinking that, but on the other spectrum of that, I don't want them overthinking everything either.
Yes.
If they start overthinking every line, I don't think Jason and Nick will do that, by the way. If we had less experienced actors, that is exactly what would be happening right now, and they'd be panicking. Nick and Jason are not going to do that. But if I had one of the captives doing one of these roles, they're just not seasoned. So they're all three of them they've all been in the business over 10 years, all three of those guys, though. So, but yeah, so they'll mine it for nuggets based on what you've told them today. They'll mine it for more nuggets from the notes. I don't think I want to be explaining anything else to them. I just want, I only had one note from the read through today, because I obviously wanted them to question you first. The one note I had for Nick was, and it was just for Nick, because Jason was, he's already got a very consistent performance worked out, and he's had the script for longer, to be fair to him as well. It was the line about the father. The father first comes up, and Nick says, and Nick's got like a reaction. Your father would be embarrassed. And the line is what? And there's it's only one word, but there's about 5 ways he could say that.
Yes.
He could be surprised, like, hang on, what are you doing talking about my father? He could be insulted. How dare you, an animal scum, talk about my dad? What are you doing bringing my dad up? And there's other ways, and I just wanted to hear him say it a few different ways. That's the only thing. So I think that reaction is actually quite important. It's a small thing, but it depending on what he reacts will say quite a lot about he's not just saying what to the captive about what do you mean you're talking about my dad? The way he says it will also say something about his relationship with his dad. Do you follow me? Yeah. See, even I look for these layers,
Oh, dude, I'd be happy for you to dig in as much as you can, because like a lot of this is supposed to provide that sort of, or at least hopefully.
No, it's good. I mean, this is why when originally Fleming was trying to cut loads of the dialogue out, I was actually saying, look, there's a lot of really great stuff here. Oh, but I can give a lot of that with a look. And I said, yeah, I know, but this guy's written this for a reason. let's try and keep as much of it in as we can. If there's stuff that can be cut, we'll cut it. But so and fortunately, after a while, he kind of relented, and
well, and
he's getting old. I'd like to learn lots of lines. That's what basically it is.
So what I was trying to get across as well is like listening to them deliver the lines. The voices I had in my head delivering them were different than their voices, obviously. But what I mean by that is like the words I think sometimes were being tripped over because they don't match the way exactly that they were speaking, and so at that point I want them to change it to better smooth it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's because like these lines are all built for a theoretical character, but once an actor grabs it, it's like I want them, instead of tripping over a line, I would rather them correct it to something they find really easy to just get out.
Sure.
You know?
Oh yeah. So if there's anything they want to simplify, as long as we're not changing the meaning of the sentence, I'll get them to simplify.
Yeah, like I'm sure you guys wouldn't even need me there to say like which of the words must stay for certain lines, but like a lot of words can be changed.
Sure. Okay. All right. Great. I think that's it then. Bloody long day.
I've saved that as that'll be draft 9 now, right?
9.
Or 8? Yeah,
No,
9. Okay.
9. Can you send that out to me straight away? Go through the rest of it, because also there was a couple of other things. The heavy is referred to as a different word.
I noticed that as well. It was henchman. I've switched that back to heavy.
Change that. Put that back in. And we could also add, if you want, by the way, because we are going to do something with the sound design of the door. We're going to hear this bolt, this lock, open and closed every time the body's removed. You could add, if you want, after the boss. Please help me know. We hear the heavy frantically trying to unlock the door, but it's too late. If you want to put that in. We could add that in sound design at that point in the script. I don't know if you want to. Does
that make you ask any questions as an audience member? Like, why would he not be able to get in immediately?
Well, it's just too slow. It's just not. He's just not in all good time to get in.
I just mean like he's fumbling with what, the handle sort of thing, or
it's just panicking because I think every time he goes out, he's shut. Mate, this door for whatever reason has got a big, huge bolt on it, and it's some kind of heavy door. And the only other way out of this room is the window, which is quite a metaphorical thing when you think about it. Just one question here as well with this clock. Ticking of the clock slows to a stop in the room, followed by a loud click and then a hiss. Now, we're not 100% sure where the clock's going to go yet, and there's all kinds of reasons as to where it should go, predominantly because Fleming's character needs to see it, doesn't he? He needs to be looking at it occasionally, right? That's implied in the script that he's checking the time.
I thought that was the boss that was looking at his watch, wasn't it?
No, the boss is looking at the watch. The captive's looking at the clock. The clock that's somewhere in the room. I'm pretty sure you had a conversation with me before that occasionally the captive looks at the clock, which is somewhere in the room. The ticking of the clock. The clock and the watch are two separate things, right? The guy's got a watch on him, like an old pocket watch on him, which he pulls out, whereas there's a clock in the room. Now, I mean, we could simplify it and get rid of the pocket watch, and we could just have the clock, or we could rid of the clock.
So I'm going to be honest. I truly don't remember talking about the captive looking at the clock. But what I will say is, I'm really happy with the boss checking his watch, because between the two characters, the boss is the one that's obsessed with how much time is left. The captive is at peace. He doesn't care about.
So the captive doesn't necessarily need to be looking at the clock. The clock could be anywhere.
I'd say the captive does not care about time.
Okay. I just thought he was aware that this device is. Oh no, the device is going to go off when he gets killed. It's not a timer. It's attached to the part, right? So actually, that's not really relevant then. Okay. So, but we just need to see the clock, and we're going to show that the clock's going to fall onto the ground somehow. So I'm thinking we're not going to see Fleming fall onto the ground. He is going to fall onto the ground, but what we're going to do is cut to the splatter, and then when we cut back, we'll see he's on the ground, right? So again, eliminates use of stuntman. Be another $5,000 right there. So basically, when he falls, if I've got the clock nearby, when he's fallen out of the chair, when he's got out of the chair, he could have knocked where the clock is, and somehow the clock's fallen close to him. If you want that as some kind of metaphor of time, it's near his hand, whatever. If that's all a bit too much implied, do we need the clock to fall off this thing and hit the ground and break?
That's actually the more important part. It doesn't need to be anywhere near him. It doesn't. Its proximity to the captive is not important. It could be anywhere.
Could it be that the bullet that's gone through him actually goes through his body and strikes the clock, which is what causes it to fall to the ground?
That is something that could work. I don't know how you would shoot that though, because wouldn't he be facing the door, and then you don't want to show the door? And if the clock would be then on the wall near the door.
No, he's actually not facing the door. He stands up from the chair, and the chair isn't facing the door. So when he stands up and he stays still, he doesn't turn. The door is off to his right.
Okay.
So he's actually facing in the direction of where the clock is, which is where we're planning on putting it.
Yeah. So you're envisioning the shot would then go through his head into the clock that's on the wall.
I'll show you where we're thinking of putting the clock. Yeah, we could go through it. Maybe go through his head. It could ricochet because it would go through him. At that range, it would go through him and it would come out.
Yeah.
So what could happen is right? If you see this stack of pallets, right? That stack of pallet with the blue one, it's probably going to be there either on that stack there or just on this stack here somewhere. We're going to put a bit more refuse on this. We're going to put some discarded. The farm just cleared its office out, its old office, so we could use it. It's got things like ledgers from 1984, for fuck's sake, in there, all kinds of shit. So we're going to put a load of that in here, so that some of this stuff has got a bit more stuff clutter on it, and then that clutter is a discarded clock. So that's where we think the clock's going to be. So it's directly in front of one of the captives, basically.
Yeah, and you could have the bullet knock it off, and then hitting the ground finishes it off, sort of thing, and then all the ticking will be done in post.
Yeah, and I mean, we could hear a ricochet, so we don't necessarily, if the angle's not quite lining up, we could hear a ricochet of the bullet, rattle off something, smashes into the glass of the clock falls down.
I mean, it looks like it's already lined up. You won't even need the ricochet, but sure.
Yeah, I mean, technically, it's all about he's standing at this point, so it's a bit high, but maybe if we put it right on top of those pallets, maybe.
Yeah. Is that where the table would be?
That's where we're looking at. Yeah, because he would be in this chair here. Jason would be in this chair here. So we lined it up. We got the camera behind here. We put the bottle down. We did that as a test shot.
Wouldn't that? I thought that might have been a problem for you because it shows too much of what's behind them too openly at that point, wouldn't it? Or
no, we're never going to shoot that way. So no. The way we angled it is so the bottle I think would be about here.
Right.
The cameraman would be here shooting kind of across the table lengthwise. And that goes towards the chair at a 45-degree angle. And like I said, I'll try and put more clutter to make the room feel a bit more enclosed.
I gotcha. Okay.
But
would it be more difficult or easier to put the table parallel to the chairs, if you know what I mean, or perpendicular? I guess I'd say. As in,
so maybe at the end. Well, the only problem with that is that it's getting that angle of having the glass come down and blocking out Fleming's face, and then picking up and revealing his face, and then back again. That's what we want to do, right? That's the whole point of that shot, to have that moment.
Yeah.
The glass is picked up. It's that little sort of reveal. And so I'm going to shoot that all in one go, by the way. So he's just going to like drain the glass. So yeah, we'll I think where we've got it is where the chairs are.
Okay.
Because we tried it a few different places before we sort of ended up with this setup.
Well, I mean, you know what I was going for with it, so I'll leave it to you on how to get
I mean, the most important thing is that the glass blocks Fleming's face. When the guy picks it up, it reveals, and that's when he drops his mask.
Yeah.
That's what you want. Yeah. So as long as I get that, that's the goal. All right. Okay. Right. Dinner time for Lancey. Thanks. All very helpful for the actors and also me as well.
Well, yeah, and you know, I'll be relatively on call for any questions like that are needed answering.
Yeah, if you can be largely available and not on 9-hour streams from now until the end of Saturday, that would be helpful. So just do normal 20-minute ones. I'm a normal person.
Me 20-minute streams? Are you crazy?
How is everything? What's going on with your health and all that? I've got a bit of an update on mine. I don't know if I told you. I got I was because I went to Corfu for like a couple of weeks ago. Literally, you get on one of those buses that takes you no distance whatsoever to the plane. So we could see the plane from where we were waiting to queue up for the bus. The plane was about 40 meters away. We could have quite happily walked across to the plane. There's only 4 planes in this airport. It wasn't exactly ginormous. And this bus comes up, and I'm thinking, where's this bus taking us? It's just taking us to the plane, which is a short walk away. But okay, it's not like we had loads of elderly people with us. There were some, I suppose, with families and kids and whatnot. But maybe it's a health and safety thing. So I'm get on the bus. My phone rings again. It hasn't rung like the whole holiday. No one's called me the whole holiday. Phone rings. Mr. Nielsen, we've got your results, and I'm like, okay. But if it's bad news, I can't remember what I said. I don't know. I said maybe I should talk about this later. And I said, well, I thought you wanted the result. Anyway, the long story of it was that the polyps that they found on my lungs, they were 90% certain and not cancer, but just scar tissue from when I had all my chest infections. And I need to check them again in 4 months. But hopefully, if it's okay again in 4 months, that'll be the all clear. So
hopefully, for sure.
How's yours?
My end is I'm still waiting for my next scan, but the GP I saw said he's not even remotely worried about it. So
okay, good. That's reassuring.
I will say, just because my family have had some really bad luck with GPs telling them that everything is fine and it's not fine. So a little bit, anxious, but I'm sure I'll be fine.
Okay, all right, good. Well, keep me posted, and I'm quite good with all that kind of stuff. If you ever need, any help with any of it, just let me know. Got a lot of friends that work for the NHS.
Well, all right, okay. Of my mum's career. And she's a little bit more cynical about it than most people I know, just because she knows how it all works. She knows all the cheats,
She knows how it all works, or more appropriately,
how it doesn't work. Yeah, like she knows what to say, how to say it, and where to contact to get the thing that you actually need, and the people to talk to you like a person instead of like an annoying, idiot.
Yeah.
But hey, we do what we can.
Yeah. So
I've emailed you the draft 9, by the way.
Fab. All right, I'll send that out to everybody.
And yeah, obviously, I don't mind that they read it even just one time, but hopefully those production notes, they really will hopefully find them useful. They, you and I went through all of them.
Well, I did send them to everybody, so people sort of saying, "Oh, I've only just seen these." Well, there were 2 attachments, and I actually said in the email, and there are some production notes which you will find helpful for the characters. Fucking actors, but they do the bare minimum they can get away with at the best of times, mate.
Because I get it, because how boring, but I just be like, it'll be super helpful though, I swear.
Yeah. Anyway, all right, listen, all very helpful. Good to see you as always, or not quite see you, but I can envisage. I just picture a big ginger. So we'll definitely talk again over the next couple of days, and hopefully there won't be any massive more production headaches. I'm glad I've been keeping on top of other people's jobs. So that's why I'm getting paid the big bucks. All right. I'll speak to you soon.
Yeah, speak to you soon. See you around.
All right. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.